Hey there, brother. I'm Stuart Matola, men's relationship coach, and I want to talk to you in this video today about, do you crucify yourself to stay in relationship with an abusive woman? And how would you know? Do you feel like you're consistently reprimanded by your partner? Do you feel like you're not respected? You're not trusted? And at worst, you feel just diminished and picked on. It's as if nothing you can do is good enough for her. If you find yourself in that situation, I want you to ask yourself, do you give up self-worth for what I call she-worth? She-worth, you can imagine what that is, right? Your worth in her eyes becomes more important to you than your own worth in your own eyes. If you can say yes, well, I'm going to tell you, giving up your center, your strength, your integrity, your manhood is no way to have a kick-ass fulfilling relationship with your partner. In fact, it's a recipe for disaster. So I want to ask you, let's peel back the onion here for a minute. Where did you learn that? Did you learn that from your father as a boy growing up? You watched that he was passive. He didn't stand up to your mom. She dominated him. Or maybe it was the flip side. He was so dominating and you were damn well not going to replicate that pattern. So you swung to the opposite polarity. Or maybe you bought into the idea that a good man loves his woman no matter what. And in that line of thinking, you wouldn't even know if she was being abusive because you'd have a loyalty to an idea instead of a loyalty to your own integrity and well-being. Does that sound like a foreign language, loyalty to your own integrity and well-being? Do you have any sense of what that means? Take a pause, consider it for a moment. Now, one of the ways you know you're in a relationship with an abusive woman is if she's incapable of communicating to you in a way that's productive and constructive, and instead you have a clear sense that she seems to consistently be destructive, demeaning, and it's as if she gets off on that. And it may not be so much in the aggressive, bullying manner. It may even be in the quiet, nice, manipulative manner. I've seen it in both ways. And I want to add something too. I've also seen a lot of guys who are carrying around what I call the sins of the patriarchy, as if somehow they will atone for all the bad things that men have done to women by putting their tail between their legs in their relationship and not be that bad patriarchal guy. But yet, instead, they swing to the opposite polarity, which is a recipe for misery, which is to be the non-assertive, non-self-advocating pleaser, fixer, the guy who does everything possible to try to make his wife happy. I'm not a fan of the expression happy wife, happy life. I think it leads to men tolerating their women. And I think it takes an idea of being considerate and loving to your partner, and it over-exaggerates it to the point where a man denies his own needs, his own wants, and his own sense of his own well-being. Now, I want to be clear, this is not one of those videos about men advocating hatred of women. Far from it. In fact, I operate in a way where I believe that as you get stronger as a man, and as you get more connected to your integrity, you're going to become a better partner. As you strengthen your sense of self, you also strengthen your sense of empathy. You don't need to crucify yourself for an abusive woman. That is an extreme, distorted version of a good man loves his woman. I don't want you doing that. I want better for you. And that is going to rely on you increasing your sense of self-worth over your sense of she-worth. That needs to be your fulcrum. That needs to be your orientation. And without it, you're always going to feel like you're in a one-down position with her. You're never going to feel like her equal. And you're never going to feel like you're enough for her. I want more for you, brother. I want you to be in your power, and I want her to be in her power. And I want you to be a power couple. Now, one of the ways you know if you can make change with her is you make change on yourself first. You start showing up in different ways. You start to self-advocate. You start to own your wants and needs. And when she's complaining, you set a boundary. You ask, tell me what you want. What is your request? I can be more connected to you, sweetie, when I hear your request instead of your complaint. And if it's something that's a character attack on you, I want you to be a better man, or I want you to show up differently, that's a complaint veiled as a request. And you can do better. So in that case, you specifically ask, what is your request of me? What would you like to see me do differently? And please be specific. And that's the kind of feedback a man can take from his partner. But a constant drip of complaints, being demeaned, being picked on, being reprimanded, that is not acceptable. You need to make that clear. I like to say you need to lovingly rock the boat to create change in your relationship, which means you need to kindly speak the truth. And in that case, it's, I need to hear your requests. I don't feel connected to you when you're complaining about me. And then you as a man get to decide how you show up differently. You don't just blindly meet your partner's requests. Check in with yourself and you get clear on how you can meet that. I always like to say, disappoint her up front instead of later. Don't agree to do things or show up in a way that you are resentful about or that you don't really want to do, because you'll be out of integrity and you won't do it. And then you'll be even less trustworthy to your partner. So if you do your work to get in integrity with yourself, to own your wants and needs, and that may be doing a bunch of therapy to increase your self-worth, to know your past patterns from your family of origin. I work with a ton of men who've been in therapy for years, but they come to me then to get the directives to move forward into action in their life that therapy typically does not offer. So if you've made change in your life and how you're showing up and how you're in relationship with yourself, and your partner's unwilling to do the work on herself because she's stuck in her abusive ways and she wants to continue the old patterns, that's when you know it's time to make a change in the relationship. And that's not so easy. I get it, but it's absolutely doable. So take that simple mechanism of the turning the complaint into a request, because that's one way you can explicitly challenge an abusive woman to show up in a different way. That's in integrity with you and what you want for you and what you want for your relationship. Because a request keeps you in the productive mode. It's future oriented, and it's not you as a couple swirling on the past and all the injustices and all the things that were done wrong. Now, that is assuming that there wasn't a serious breach of trust, like an infidelity or drug use or something that really does need that patching up and healing. If that's the case, that's a different thing, and that needs to be worked on separately. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my YouTube channel to the lower right. Please show up to my Men's Relationship Tools call or join my Men's Mastering Relationship Facebook group. I'll leave links to both of those below. Have a kick-ass day. Bye.